From Informa Tech Target, I'm David Essex, and this is Enterprise Apps Unpacked. Agentic AI, intelligent agents that can make decisions and act on their own, is probably the biggest trend in enterprise applications. ERP vendors have been furiously adding special-purpose AI agents to their platforms, along with development tools so companies can create custom agents. They've also beefed up their data offerings so AI can learn from and act on all the transactional and unstructured data involved in executing business processes inside the organization and outside, with customers, suppliers, and partners. Agentic AI follows and builds on the human-like language abilities of generative AI, which was released a little over 3 years ago, and before that, the machine learning AI that ERP vendors had been adding for years to supercharge analytics and provide predictive capabilities, pattern matching, optimization, anomaly detection, and basic process automation. The result is organizations now have access to a rich, multi-layered palette of AI to implement a far greater degree of automation than ever before, and maybe achieve the digital transformation that's been the holy grail for over a decade now. But it's challenging to do and often requires help from consultants and system integrators. One big challenge is developing enough agents to do everything you need and get them to communicate and coordinate their activities in what's called multi-agent orchestration. Today's guest is Gianluca Simeone, Vice President and Chief Technology and Innovation Officer at Capgemini, the French multinational IT services firm and one of SAP's consulting partners. He's based in Milan, Italy, and focuses on helping clients adopt emerging technologies for digital transformation, often on SAP systems. Much of his recent work has been in agentic AI. One project involved using SAP Joule Studio to develop, in 3 weeks, AI agents that work across SAP and non-SAP systems to automate the procure-to-pay process of an oil and gas company. I wanted to learn what it's really like to implement agentic and generative AI on SAP systems. What kinds of development tools are used? Can non-technical business users really play a role in building AI apps, which has been the promise of the no-code development tools ERP vendors and others have been hyping? Integration is always an issue with AI that has to work across different workflows and applications. So what kind of integration work is involved? We talked about all of that, but also delved into whether the rapid evolution of SAP's AI offerings over the past 3 years has enabled these kinds of innovative applications. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Enterprise Apps Unpacked for the real story on the software that runs your business. Gianluca, thanks very much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, David.
Capgemini has been helping clients with agentic AI deployments on their SAP systems. Can you give an overview of the kinds of projects, who is doing them, and how long they've been going on?
Thank you. Yes, of course. So we're doing a lot of great job in Capgemini, and not just looking to the SAP market and SAP clients. We're working as a global organization in supporting globally our enterprise clients in understanding how to adopt this new technology in order to achieve very simple benefits that, it's complex to achieve, but it's very simple from theoretical point of view. So what we are doing is basically supporting our clients in infusing this kind of new capabilities in order to improve business resilience, in order to improve operational excellence, in order to improve time to value. Okay. And again, we are doing this not just for the SAP, but we are doing this as an holistic approach on the agentic AI topic.
One thing that I've always been curious about when a large firm like Capgemini gets involved in one of these projects is how much of the work and what the nature of that work is that is performed by your clients, and then, of course, by you, but also how much might be handled by SAP, the vendor in some of these cases, but maybe other vendors and consultancies will get involved.
Exactly. So it's case by case topic, okay? And just looking to the SAP market in this case. So I want to say that we are progressing with our clients in a kind of playing fields, okay, where basically the first playing fields is how we can support our clients in anticipating go lives during any kind of SAP transformation journey. Okay, that it's basically the first task from clients saying, hey guys, I need to anticipate my go lives. I need to reduce the overall timing of my projects. Okay, and this is kind of first playing fields where we are playing a role with our clients and with SAP to achieve this kind of result. Okay. On the other end, we have the same clients that are saying, hey guys, because we are succeeding on the productivity and anticipating go lives, reducing effort and elapsed, now it's time for my productivity on my side. So please help me in reducing my costs on the operational sides, again, because I want to take the best coming from this kind of technology, okay? And last but not least, I'm considering as a project, but it's mainly focused on people and talents, okay? Because, to be able to enable the previous two playing fields, it's a must to have the right people with the right skill and mainly with the right mindset, okay? And I'm not mentioning just Capgemini people, but I'm mentioning Capgemini and clients working as a one team to be sure that we are on the same level of the understanding of how to achieve this kind of benefits, okay? And of course, we are using SAP technology in order to cover the three playing fields, and we are complementing with other player, other vendor, other third party, because, David, my motto is that no one can play alone on this space, okay? So today we are talking about the agentic AI, no? But, it's a mix of, no? Because the hot topic, the trend is, yes, agentic AI, but we are coming from different years on investing in multiple kind of technology, Gen AI, traditional AI. So the topic is how to hyper automate how we are working, mix of technology, and the trajectory is to be agentic everywhere on the multiple fields that I'm mentioning.
Mm-hmm. So your statement just now is kind of a nice lead into my next question. I've been following SAP's AI strategy ever since it's started practically. And so I'm wondering about what it is about that strategy that made these real world deployments practical, because as you mentioned, we've had generative AI and that's been popular now for about 4 years. But then there's been a lot of evolution of SAP's own strategy, including when, they added Agentic AI, they came out with the Joule Copilot, and then Business Data Cloud. They did a lot of data related changes in the past year. So I'm wondering what kinds of evolution have changed so that you're now at the point where you're able to do some of these real world deployments.
Yeah, exactly. And we're following SAP in this kind of roadmap and initiative since the beginning. Okay, we are early adopter of the multiple technology and assets coming from SAP, starting 3 years back, when was exactly just the Gen AI topic powered by BTP, and now we are moving more and more on the business dimension of how we can improve, as mentioned, the resilience and the operational excellence. So we are following the journey because, it's a journey, and each and every month we have a lot of new topic to cover because the pace of the market and the pace of technology is huge, no? So we're following SAP from the beginning, and this kind of journey is in line with the playing field mentioned. At the beginning was the productivity, that was mainly on the Gen AI accelerators, where our scope was, first of all, to elevate as much as possible the out-of-the-box from SAP. And today we have Joule for developer, we have Joule for consultant, helping our team and client team in understanding how to augment the delivery framework in succeeding together and implementing the transformation. Next, focused on the business, we know all the great stuff from SAP that we are calling embedded AI capabilities, no? Kind of intelligence that we have in each and every SAP products like S4, Ariba, BTP, SuccessFactors, and so on. And how Capgemini as a system integrator is working and investing in complementing the out-of-the-box from SAP based on industry-specific needs and based on our clients' needs, no? It's our role, complementing the standard SAP, the out-of-the-box, with something specific industry-based. And again, the same on the people and talent, because we need people certified on this technology, on the SAP technology, and this is relevant for different personas. Because, it's not just for the technicality of the dev team, but it's important to have business consultant from procurement, finance, and so on, understanding 100% the art of the possible out of the box from SAP, and how to infuse all those modern technology in the business as usual for our clients.
Mm-hmm. So what were the development tools that you used to build these? And I'm also wondering what they're like to use, if they require much coding or if they're very sort of object-oriented visual design, and if non-technical people such as myself could get involved to help with the design.
Yeah, maybe just looking on the real agentic topic, no, that it's the hot topic, just looking on this and just considering Joule Studio and the agent builder capability that we know since last year, I can say that this is not just for dev team. This is mainly for business consultant. And you know why? Because it's a real no-code platform where we can easily implement custom agents, providing the instruction to the agent, using as well vibe coding in case we need, building in a natural language on Joule Studio, all those kind of agents to be infused on the business process steps execution that we know, for instance, on the order to cash, on the procure to pay, on the finance to manage, and so on. So, from my point of view, the main actors are the business consultant, because they know the business, they know the industry, they know how our clients are using and executing the business as usual, so they can easily identify business process steps where agents make a lot of sense on behalf of human to support the execution of the business's users. And of course, Joule Studio, for instance, we have as well the pro code way of working, where it's mainly for the dev team, for the technical team, working together with the business consultant and working together with the business personas from our clients. So it's a triangulation of personas in order to achieve the best result from this technology.
I'm also always curious about integration. And so maybe this is a point to talk about a specific case study or two. I know at least one of them I think is public, so you don't have to be too private about it. But I'm curious about, like, leaving aside the technology integration aspect, what about the workflows or business processes that needed to be integrated in maybe one of your actual real-world case studies?
It's integration, it's a keystone in implementing this new way of working, okay? And the integration, not just from the technical point of view. And typically when I'm talking with CXO, with clients, we are not approaching AI as a standalone topic, okay? But the approach is to be able to connect different dots, okay? Because, today, implementing an S/4HANA transformation, a RISE transformation, and grow with SAP transformation, you need to be in line with the clean core principles to be able to implement a flexible and a solution that can scale, okay, considering multiple principles from the enterprise architecture point of view. So we have the clean core. We have the data topic that, of course, it's the foundation for any kind of success implementing AI. Integration, it's a key topic because at the end we need to consume and trigger actions into the backend. So we are supporting clients, first of all, as a prerequisite to succeed on the AI, to move from the traditional point-to-point way of working in exchanging data between modules, SAP and non-SAP, in approaching the real business AI paradigms, okay, where we are able to decouple the modules to achieve the flexibility mentioned before. And when we are able to build our library of business APIs, we will be able to have agents that are consuming the same APIs that we can use to orchestrate the modern workflow in executing the business processes. Okay, so again, different dots to connect, not just a standalone topic, and multiple enablers to be able to succeed on the agentic AI way of working.
How about SAP's own integration tools and maybe APIs and integration standards? Can you go a little more detail about maybe what you were using for most of these deployments?
Yeah, again, it's a case by case, no, because we have clients that are asking to be in line with previous investment in specific solution. Okay, but typically, an SAP client on the SAP market, typically they are in line again with the clean core topic, and clean core in SAP means BTP, and on the integration topic means integration suite. Now that it's part of the BTP. So our recommendation is to stay in line with the bundle of the services coming from Rise with SAP or Grow with SAP, to be able to reuse as much as possible the business contents coming out of the box from SAP. Okay, but we have in some case clients that are asking to implement consuming different technology, or case where clients are asking how to combine multiple solutions to cover the holistic picture of the enterprise architecture. So maybe by use case, we have integration suite covering mainly SAP perimeter and other kind of technology covering non-SAP perimeter, okay? But our suggestion is to stay on the integration suite on BTP and Joule Studio that it's there, and all the capability of the clean core powered by BTP.
Can you talk a bit about a good example of a deployment where the client is comfortable talking about it, and can you sort of describe what the multi-agent work that was done and what the sort of the business benefits were?
Yeah, the multi-agent, it's a topic where we need to experiment a bit more, okay? Because, from the marketing point of view, we are mentioning the multi-agent since a long time, okay? But the real technology to implement a real multi-agent solution, it's still ongoing, okay? And so if you just consider, for instance, SAP and the SAP technology, we are not yet able to deploy on productive environment a real agent to agent, okay? And the same with the other player. And the real value from the agent to agent topic will come when we will have SAP offering a list of agents to execute specific tasks. Other players like the hyperscalers or other vendors releasing something similar, and having Capgemini as a system integrator working with our clients in really connecting the dots between the multiple agents to orchestrate an end-to-end business processes with this new way of working. Agent to agent is as well a new protocol that is coming on the market. And this is, for instance, what we are doing with SAP and Google. We have a three-way partnership where we are experimenting this new protocol, where we will have real agents coming from Joule and SAP, and agents coming maybe from Google side, okay, consuming data that are non-SAP data that maybe are powered by Cortex and BigQuery on the Google side, and having this real hybrid agent to agent working together, okay? But this is still in experimentation phase, let me say, okay? But this is the future. This is what we will implement on the client side in few weeks.
So do you have some real-world deployments now of just some kind of agentic AI, maybe an individual agent or a couple of agents that aren't talking to each other?
Yeah, not individual agents, okay? different agents that are working together. And yes, we have multiple cases where clients are saying, okay, now my understanding on AI and Gen AI, Agentic AI is clear. I have this kind of business processes. And for instance, we are working now with an utility company from the Nordics, where the ask is exactly, let's work together in applying this kind of hyper automation. And our solution was in building custom Joule agents powered by Joule Studio, in having this technology, executing tasks, and having kind of resonance, okay? Real agents on behalf of humans, that are taking actions and decisions in order to reduce the lead time in the executing the business process steps. We have different cases in the order to cash, on the procurement. We have specific case where clients are asking to augment the classical procurement process on the request for quotation, where we have agents that are supporting the business personas in identifying the most relevant vendors that needs to be qualified in order to execute the classical procurement processes that we know since the beginning.
So, looking back on the deployments that you've been involved in, what would you say are the biggest challenges, but also maybe the most common ones that listeners who are considering similar projects should be aware of before they start?
Yeah, based on our experience, and my personal comment is the mindset. Because typically people are not trusted enough this kind of technology, okay, for multiple reasons. So mindset, it's a topic, and this is why we are helping our clients in understanding, in piloting, that the maturity of this kind of technology, it's a reality today, okay? So mindset, let me say, from the people, and the security, okay? The security in how my data, my business data are consumed. What about the real ethics of the AI? On top, on the security, my data classifications, and so on. So just to summarize, I want to say people mindset and security overall.
Is it possible to sort of state what the keys to success might be? Like this phrase low-hanging fruit in the IT industry has been around for decades, I think. Sometimes with projects like this, there's some things you go after at the start because, the metaphor applies. There's a quicker ROI and maybe they're a little easier to do. Is there something like that you can point to that maybe our listeners could maybe focus on initially if they're thinking of doing this?
Yeah, let me say the clean core principles as mentioned before, considering data as well. So we are insisting since long time on the clean core, okay? Today we are calling clean core, but as a Capgemini, we are there since 10 years, okay? In supporting clients in moving from the legacy mindset, a way of working, to the cloud native way of working, okay? Respecting the standard from SAP, to simplifying all the operational stuff, okay? So when we are in line with those principles, and when we have a data quality process in execution, okay, all the rest in terms of benefits that we can achieve from the AI, it's just a very simple exercise that we can really implement with our clients. So, again, it's simple to say because data, it's a huge topic. Clean core, it's a huge topic, but starting with the right mindset, avoiding additional technical depth on top on what we know from the past, having the right mindset and implementing in the right way any S/4HANA transformations, okay, we will enable easily all the benefits coming from the Agentic AI way of working.
It's been apparent for some years now that AI is really starting to change the nature of enterprise applications, including ERP itself. Do you have a sort of a vision, or have you thought about in the ways that maybe broader use of agentic AI, because it is still quite new, as you pointed out, how might it possibly change the nature of enterprise applications, either how they're developed or maybe how they're used?
Yeah, for sure will change the way on how system integrator will implement this kind of transformation, because we can achieve a very important hyper automation as well during the delivery of this kind of projects. And on the other side, we will have kind of semi-autonomous ERP in the future, okay, where we really need people just on the main steps, human in the loop by default, but human just for the real important tasks, okay, and all the rest, all the repetitive manual tasks executed autonomously by this kind of technology.
I think that'll be a day people are looking forward to. Gianluca, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Thank you, David.
Thank you for listening to Enterprise Apps Unpacked, where we give the real story on the software that runs your business. To learn more about business applications, explore our content on searcherp.com. Find us on YouTube at our channel, Ion Tech. Subscribe to our podcast to receive the latest episodes as they drop. And if you liked what you heard today, give us a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Until next time.
Podcast programming and promotion by Kelsey Waddell. Music supplied by DP via Getty Images. This is an Informa Tech Target production.